Hello, hello, guys. All right, let's get started. Who's going to hop on today? I'm excited to be on here. I really am. I just finished giving Sky a shower, making sure she was good and clean. So who's going to join me on here? I'm excited. Come on, guys. Hop on. Share this. It's going to be fun tonight. Okay, so if you are just joining me live, keep joining, share away, and make sure you click notifications so you know when I go live, because I do have a bad habit, and that bad habit is I'm very rarely on time. I try, but then something happens, like my husband stopped me and had to have a question answered, and then Skylar stops me on my way to the office because she wants me to wash her hair. And so it just doesn't always happen. I'm sure you guys get that, okay? So even though I say I'm going to be there at 8:30, unless I put something up, I promise I'm going to be there. But it just may not be right at 8:30. All right, so with that said, I want you guys to share this. And if you share it, I want you to say you shared. And I'm going to give you a shout out. And then basically I'm going to tally that up. And that's going to be part of how I give away free stuff each month. I also will do other things to give away free stuff. So the things I ask you to do them, one, because watching me live, you guys know, is entertaining, right? And the other thing is I want you guys to learn as much as you can in regards to IEPs, because these days it's just kind of crazy, isn't it? And with FAPE, it's the icing on the cake, isn't it? So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Raven Woods, and I am the CEO and founder of Autism Mama Rocks, the IEP, and I help parents gain the knowledge and the confidence to become the CEO, the big kahuna of your IEP, okay? So truly, that's what you need to be. That's what I'm hoping to get you to, and people seem to be getting there, so I'm excited about that. So I'm actually going to start what's called a series in some of my conversations and talks with you guys when I go live. And sometime by the end of the summer, I think I'm pretty much going to be streaming here on Facebook and on YouTube. I have some people on my team who are getting my YouTube together, taking these videos, putting them on YouTube. We're getting it all together, and then I will be streaming on YouTube as well. So even though it's not ready, if you want to go and like my YouTube or whatever it is you do on YouTube, I'm new to YouTube. So what is it? You like it or whatever you do. What is it y'all do? Something YouTube. So if you want to go do that and get ahead of the game, go for it. Because probably around August timeframe, I will be streaming here and on YouTube. Okay. So with that said, today we're going to talk about consent a little bit. Remember the other day I said we're going to talk about what do you have to consent to? You actually have to consent to quite a bit. Sometimes you don't have to consent if that's something that the teachers typically do for all children. So the answer to that question is you have to actually consent to everything except what's done to typical children. So children who don't have disabilities, they have evaluations, visually the teacher observes, that sort of thing. They're given assessments, and those are the type of tests that don't have to be adhered to in reference to you guys saying yes or no. Now in the IEP, you can choose to have them on the diploma track or the alternative assessment track, okay, if you will. Or you can actually choose to not have them on a track at all, okay? So you can have the diploma track, the alternative, I can never talk, alternative assessment track, or no track at all. And I actually like no track at all better than the alternative assessment. But you guys probably didn't know that you actually can choose not to have alternative assessment. Here's my issue. Look, I'm getting off track already. So the issue with alternative assessments, all right, so here in Virginia, it's called VAP, V-A-A-P. Some people call it VAP. So find out what the alternative assessment in your state is, okay? It should be in your IEP, but sometimes it's not. And you basically will find out about it. So Google it, find out exactly from the company exactly what is required. And then find out what the school has to give them. This was news to me 2 years ago, okay? Not back in the day, 2 years ago. So this alternative assessment is because I started questioning certain things on that she was learning that was not in her goals. And I was like, well, because she was taught last year and for several years, past 4 years, by a BCBA who's a special educator as well, and a couple of them, the company, and they came into the school. So she wasn't taught by a special education teacher. And so I kept asking them, I'm like, how is she working on algebra? She's still figuring out, 3-digit, addition and 3-digit subtraction and carrying over and all that. She can do that all great. So, but she's still getting proficient in the multiplication, and, she still has to look at the multiplication chart, and she's just maybe hitting division. So I'm like, how is she doing algebra? Well, they said, oh, well, we have to do that for the vape. What do you mean you have to do that for the vape? Well, vape requires us to do certain things with her, and so we have to do that so that we can turn it in. Find out. Okay? So then I'm like, are you serious? And you never told me? They didn't tell me about this. So your child's on this alternative track. If they are, post below if your child's on an alternative track. Curious. And do you know what's taught in reference to that alternative track? Because it's not on your goals. It's not on your goals. And the alternative track is a statewide thing, and they have rules and regulations. It's a state thing. So those rules require the school to do X, Y, Z. So your child may be doing work that isn't even in their goals. That's not even something that they can really do. So then I started asking, okay, let me see the vape work, and I'm not even going to go there. So check it out. I'm curious what you guys come back with, because I think you're going to be unpleasantly surprised. So if you share, make sure you, wow, that was a firework. Make sure you post below that you shared, and I will give you a shout out, and you will go into the bucket to win something free for the month of July. Okay? So we're going to talk about consent for just a second. So before conducting any evaluation, as you know, you have to sign consent. You want to make sure that that consent says exactly what they're supposed to be evaluating, because they'll leave stuff out, and they'll leave stuff out that you already asked for that is important to you, but because you see it, you're excited and you just kind of sign. It happens all the time. I've done it many times, and you guys need to not do that. You need to go through it literally line by line, okay? Because they could skip it, and then they're going to be like, when you say, I just realized XYZ, and this is missing, and they're saying, well, we're going to have to come back to that another time. Now, if they're nice, they may do another one, but the stuff they pull. So in section 1414, evaluations have to be signed by the parent, all right? Just not evaluations that are done with typical children. So children with non-disabilities, the assessments and, observations and data collection and all that is done with everybody. It does not have to be consented by you. Everything else does, the IEP and so on and so forth. Some people have asked me, well, I don't have to sign my IEP. Well, technically you do. Just some states don't require it, okay? But the states that don't require it, many of them will still want to get your permission, even if that's via email. Yes, I give you permission to implement the IEP. Or if you're in a state that doesn't require it, you've never signed an IEP, look in your school's policy, all right, on the district website. Look on your state's DOE and find where it states you do not have to consent to your child's IEP, okay? If it does not say that, if it does not say parent does not have to consent to IEP in Iowa, okay? If it doesn't say that, you have to consent. You have to. All right, so you guys got to check this out, because it's been told to me multiple times here on the comments, and I haven't really commented back because I've been on a tangent talking about whatever I was talking about, but you guys got to check this out, all right? These are some good tips and tricks. If you've never signed an IEP, find out why. Always find out why. If you're told something by the school, ask why. If you're not satisfied with the answer, ask more questions, okay? Get to the bottom of it. You're going to know if they're full of shit, okay? Your gut's going to tell you. You're a mom, you're a dad. You just know. And if you don't know, you're going to figure it out, all right? Just start listening to your intuition. Start listening to that gut feeling that's irking at you, that's saying something's not right. And if it's saying that, find out what it is and don't give up until you do, okay? So you have to consent to everything, to every single IEP, unless it is in writing on your state's DOE website and in black and white. Parents do not have to consent and sign their child's IEP. If you can find me that, then you don't have to sign. I guess they just do whatever they want. But if you've said to me that you don't have to sign, you've never signed an IEP, they've never asked you to sign for an IEP, there's no signature page. I want to talk to you. I want you to PM me, and I want to have a conversation with you. I'm serious. PM me if you don't sign your IEP. PM me. I will set up calls with you because I'm going to help you find out. Or if you know for sure yourself, PM me the information where it says parents in Texas, which they have to sign their IEPs in Texas, but just say parents in Texas don't have to sign their child's IEPs, or parents in California don't have to sign their child's IEPs, which both of those states are big states. Texas and California, they both have to sign IEPs. Virginia have to sign IEPs. New York has to sign IEPs. Florida has to sign IEPs. So I'm curious about these middle states that don't sign IEPs for some reason, or it's really like the Midwestern states. Is it Midwestern? Is Minnesota, and see, I'm not a geography person. So Minnesota, Missouri, Idaho, Iowa. I don't know about any of those states. Missouri, you do have to sign. Sorry. And Montana, I don't know about. Washington State, you have to sign an IEP. You have to sign in New York. I know that for a fact. And you know what, Kim? You were the one the other day. I was talking to one of my parents. Her name's Lucy Gonzalez. And I messaged her. And it's by law, I know for a fact that you have to sign in New York. For a fact. I have just fought an IEP there. And for a fact, you have to sign an IEP in New York. All right? New York has the same DOE. They don't have different ones in different areas. Doesn't matter if you're in upstate, downstate, east of the state. It doesn't matter. New York, you have to sign an IEP. I have one in my Google Drive that I create for my parents. You have to sign your IEP. So you need to find out why they're not making you sign. Okay? I have never signed an IEP. The only thing I have signed at the meeting is a sign-in page. I live in upstate New York. KS has to sign up. Okay, good. I'm in New York, never signed an IEP, says Nadia. Just the attendance log. Y'all, I know for a fact that you guys in New York has to sign an IEP. Hands down, you have to sign an IEP. New York's like California, though. They're horrible. Required in North Carolina, too. Yeah, you have to sign IEPs everywhere. Unless, okay, an idea allows this, unless in the Department of Education for your state, it states parents do not have to sign or consent to an IEP. I'm telling you, it's bullshit. You have to consent to your child having an IEP. You have to consent to your child having accommodations and modifications and services. It's not just put on a piece of paper, guys. And what I would worry about is they can take it like that if you haven't signed it. And it doesn't say in your DOE website, parent does not have to sign an IEP. Find me that Nadia and Christina, or not Christina, Kim and Nadia. Find it for me. I know you're not going to find it because I've been all over the New York DOE website because I just dealt with 2 clients there. The client I was telling you about, Kim, And Nadia, are you new, Nadia? So, oh, I didn't even do this, y'all. Post a 1 below if you're new. It's your first through third time. Post a 2 below if you're an oldie but goodie. So 1 below if you're new, 2 below if you're an oldie but goodie. Is that the NOREP and PA? Yes, it is. And I'm just dealing, Heather, with PA. I'm getting ready to go to a big IEP where I'm already talking with attorneys. Because I guess in the preschool setting, well, I know now that in Pennsylvania, when you don't agree to the IEP, then all of a sudden the attorneys get involved. I remember I was contacted by the attorney. I was like, what the heck is going on? We just said we didn't agree. What the hell? But that's how it works. And so that was interesting. But no, I'm telling you guys this, and I haven't told you this enough. I'm sorry about that. But please, please sign your damn IEPs. I don't care what they say, because they can take it in a heartbeat. If it doesn't say on the Department of Education's website, on your state's website, if it doesn't say the parents don't need to, and look at your procedural safeguards. Parents do not need to sign the child's IEP. Find me that. I guess I'm considered a two now. Okay, so Nadia and who else? What was it? Kim. All right? You all need to get with me because it is required in your state. Okay? So we need to talk. You need to PM me and we need to set up 15-minute discovery calls. Okay? Because we need to get to the bottom of that and y'all need to sign your IEPs like yesterday. All right? So, moving on, before scheduling an evaluation in a private sector or an IEE, you need to make sure all the paperwork is done. You need to make sure that you gave permission to the school system to deal with all the money part. You need to make sure that you handle all the provisions within that, and you have to allow them to have access to the information. Typically, I say, no, don't give them the information. It's none of their business. Because typically in any type of evaluation, you have to give personal information. And the school should not have to be privy to that. That's your personal information. All that needs to be done when you guys have the evaluations done or when you get your child diagnosed, you show the team when you are there in the meeting. You let them see it. However, you can touch it, feel it, whatever, while you're at the meeting. All they need to be able to do is see the diagnosis in writing, and they can put it into the IEP, okay? They have to acknowledge it, okay? There's not a, they have to do this. You need to make sure they do it, but there's not a have to do this, but they need to acknowledge it, okay? So even if the diagnosis is put into the parental concerns, they have to also note the IEE, all right, and evaluation. All right. So with that said, you also, if you're ever going to an IEE, your evaluator must meet requirements. So just bottom line, just to keep it easy, if you're getting a psychoeducational, make sure it's from a neuropsychologist, a psychologist, but they have kind of an upper scale of degrees, psychiatrist, you have, gosh, there's so many different doctors. Neurologists are great. You can also go to a developmental pediatrician. They are amazing. That's who I say go get diagnosed from. Neurology is good for all that brain stuff if your child has a lot of brain type impact. So autism is one, so you can go for that. If your child's had a TBI or other things like that, you want those things noted in your IEP. Even if it's not a diagnosis, you want that noted, okay? Bottom line, TBIs, they affect you, okay? So the next thing I want you to do is make sure in the findings and in parental concerns, in any type of note area, I like to have evaluations in the present levels. Is typically to say child had evaluation in 2018, and then they put the scores. And evaluations obviously are a good place to start as far as PLAAFP. Okay, anybody know what PLAAFP means? All right, so plop changed to PLAF. okay? Present levels of academic achievement and functional performance. All right? So I want you to make sure that whoever is doing the evaluation is qualified. I want you to make sure that it is the psychologist. I mean, I'm not a fan of psychologists as far as diagnosis. I think they're great for counseling. I think that they're great for different types of testing. But if, just for me, my preference, if I was getting my child diagnosed with autism or ADHD or anything else for that matter, it would be not by a psychologist. It would be maybe a neuropsychologist, all right, or a neurologist or a developmental pediatrician, all right? A neuropsychologist or developmental pediatrician would be my first two. So it would be developmental pediatrician, neuropsychologist, all right? So developmental pediatrician is my top, neuropsychologist the second, but that's just for diagnosis. So neuropsychologist would be my first choice for psychoeducational. Developmental pediatrician would be my first choice for diagnosis. Write that down. Developmental pediatrician, diagnosis, neuropsychologist, testing, psychoeducational, etc. All right. Psychologist, just go for counseling. Okay. Yes, they're decent for different types of testing, but they're not doctors, guys. They're not. And even in my IEP, the schools honored the autism, but like, you want to make sure that autism is in there, that they acknowledge the autism or they acknowledge the ADHD. And for them to acknowledge it has to be medically diagnosed, typically. All right. Not always, but typically. All right. And if you have, say you've gotten a evaluation from a psychologist or something like that, you can always go to a developmental pediatrician or a neuropsychologist and just, follow up, A lot of people will do that every 3 years in regards to privately on their own doing that. All right. So that's enough about consent. Basically, you got to consent to everything unless it's something that's done for all children with special needs and non-special needs, like types of tests or quizzes and, evaluations as far as like observing them and stuff like that. The normal stuff that takes place in school. Anything else above and beyond in regards to special education has to be consented by the parent, okay? Including your IEP. So guys, whoever's hopping on, make sure you post a 1 below if it's your first through third time catching me live. Hello and welcome. Hopefully all of you guys are on my group. Okay, so if you're not, stick that in the search bar, Autism Mama Rocks IEP group, and come join us. All right, I do a lot more fun stuff over there. I'll post some funny stuff. We have Picture Friday, which I forgot last Friday. I apologize. And we just have some fun over there. We get lots of questions and all that kind of stuff. So come join us if you're interested. Make sure you click notifications. State that you share if you share. And if you share, you will get a shout out and I go through it, because I'm going to put your name in a hat, box, something, and I'm going to pick names out for gifts this month. Okay, so last month I did some polls and I gave out $100 worth of Amazon gift cards. This month I'm going to do something a little bit different. So make sure that you share, okay? And post that you shared, because that's how your name's going to go into the basket, okay? So we're going to talk a little bit about how you need to not sign IEPs that are inadequate. All right. So I've had parents say things to me like, well, what if I don't sign the IEP? Then what happens? Are they going to lose services? Are they going to lose something? Is something going to happen? And I see you guys posting. You guys know that I will answer it at the end, I promise. So are they going to lose services? Am I going to lose services? Is something going to happen? What's going to go on, And in this situation that I'm dealing with where an attorney came about and it's a preschool thing and that's just how it is in PA for some crazy reason. And now the child's going into kindergarten, and if they brought on an advocate and they oppose to something, they don't just call an attorney. It's kind of weird that PA does that with preschool. Very weird. Maybe it's because people are more so happy when they got their little babies. I don't know. Maybe it's just a PA thing. I don't know. It's weird. I just know when I started taking over the emails and I was emailed by the attorney, I was just like, who are you? You know, like we were emailing the director of special ed. So with that said, make sure that your IEPs are adequate, okay? Adequate meaning, if you need me to look it over and go through it and do an IEP makeover, I can promise you it is worth it, all right? Because I will not let you down. And it's something I love to do. And I go through your IEP, as you guys know, page by page, word by word. And you get to keep everything I do, all the notes I make, all the comments I make, all the goals I redo. It's all done for you in a Google Doc and Drive. And then you get a complete Word document and PDF of all the goals. And it's fun. I love doing it. But bottom line, progress monitoring is probably the key other than your present levels. But how do you get present levels? By progress and progress monitoring, right? So progress monitoring is essential to evaluating. It's essential to finding the present levels of academic achievement and functional performance, which is how you start creating your goals, okay? And you want to make sure that your IEP team does not fail to develop and implement progress, okay? And what better way to do that? How is it, I mean, for those of you who know me, what the heck is it that I say that you gotta have? I say bada, 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 right? What do I say? Data, 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 and more data. You need to memorize what data looks like, all right? You need to eat, sleep, and anything else data, all right, until you get what data is. Objective data, all right? That is, it can be, you know, writing samples if you're looking for data as far as how your child's writing. Has it gotten better? You need to keep from the beginning of 2020 till now. How has the writing gone? Has it gotten better? Has it not improved at all? Has it gotten worse? How has it happened during COVID? Where were they before COVID? All right. Those are things you've got to think about. All right. You need to look at what is it that isn't happening that should be happening. All right. You need to make sure that every part of what is in your child's goals is backed up. You cannot just take the word for it, okay? And that's just not the school system, guys. I'm talking too much. All right. So not all IEP teams plan progress, all right? I got my notes here, y'all. I actually got a ton of notes, tons. All right. So basically what that means is they don't always implement progress. They don't always write down progress. I can't tell you in the last couple IEPs I've had, we've asked for data and we've yet to get it, which is why we're going to file FERPA complaints because I want the data. Where's the data? How'd you come? I even asked one of the IEP team, how do you put progress in the progress reports? Where did you get that from? Tell me. Because if you don't have data, what the hell are you getting it off of? Where are you pulling it from? You got to have something to where you can show progress. Okay? So never implement an IEP if they can't prove progress. And look at your last year's IEP compared to this year's IEP. Are they the same? Don't make mistakes that I made. I had, for 3 years in a row, my child had the same goals. I had no idea. I didn't know any better. Don't do that, okay? Look, you keep 3 years worth. You can only do due process for 2, but keep 3 years. And look, like from 2018, 19, 19, 20, 20 to 21, you want to look at that stuff. And you want to see, you know, okay, my child has all these goals. Or when I create goals for parents, I say, okay, you all better touch base with me in 6 months, all right? Or obviously I tell them if you have a hiccup in after I run an IEP, sometimes I'll go to the next one, dependent, and sometimes I'll go to the third if it's a real nightmare. But then after that, people fly, and then they just call me when they have a hiccup. In 6 months, I like to review what have they, because at that point you've received 2 progress reports. I want to see how they're doing on my goals that I created, because I know that your child can obtain them in talking to you and having high expectations. Okay? So I want to know, how are they measuring that progress? Because I put measured by data collection, or I'll add written assignments, etc. Quizzes and assessments as well. All right. So you can have data, always have report data collection, because report data collection can be assessments and quizzes. And then you want to add written work, if it's like in handwriting or something like that. You obviously can't really ask for written work if it's in speech. You can't really ask for written work if it's in OT, but you can if it's a goal in reference to writing, or you can if it's a goal in reference to math. Right? But you can't really ask for that in regards to reading. But you can in regards to if it's comprehension type questions. So that's what written work is, or written assignments. All right? You can add that to any goal that actually you would have in hand. Okay? Writing work, etc. School classwork, etc. Okay? But you can't in certain things. All right? So I want report data collection. How are you collecting that data? So, when I was going through an IEP yesterday, I remember the director and I were going back and forth on these goals. And she said, okay, we can do that one. Okay, I heard her, as I'm reading the goals to her of what I chose and why. And I did take some of their goals that they had and I just tweaked them a little bit. And each goal she would say, okay, we can measure that. We can measure that, because she knows that, and this is in New York, guys, Nadia and Kim. And one of them was in the city and one of them was like 15 minutes from the city. And she made sure that everything that I was saying, that she could measure that goal in data collection, because she knew I was going to make sure she did. All right. So you need to make sure that your goals are monitored. And how is that done? By progress monitoring. All right. Legal issues and recommendations for IEP teams is something that I like to discuss. It's something that I'm getting very proficient in as of recent, because I've had to. I'm going through a due process case now with a client, and boy, is that something. I don't know if I'll ever do one again. It's a lot of work. And the opposing attorneys are nasty. So it's one of those things where, you have to understand. Like I've had to, for Florida, I'm not in Florida, so I've had to study really hard on the Florida statute and comparison to IDEA and the court and the circuit that it is. It's different than Virginia and other states, so you have to make sure that you're proficient in the things you do, right? Same thing with the school. They have to be proficient in the things they do. They're there to teach children. Children have to show progress. How do they show progress? By progress monitoring, tests, assessments, written work. Well, the school has to then be able to show you that the progress has been made. All right? So progress monitoring is essential to evaluating the appropriateness of your child's program, an IEP. All right? And yet there's compliance with the required component of the IEP. All right? There has to be compliance there, and they have to make sure that they adhere to that. And that's why it's important to have all the different things that you're wanting in your IEP. All right, let me stop here and answer some questions. Hi, Tony, Michelle, Cynthia. Oh, you're getting Chinese food. That sounds good. What'd you get? Mary Elizabeth Hendricks. Hello. Shared to my local ASD support. That's awesome. Thank you so much. Where are you located? Mary. Shared. Tony shared. Awesome. Thank you, Tony. Cynthia says, you rock. Hey, Roxy, how are ya? And Kim was telling me about this. You're on the diploma credential type expected, says Regents diploma. Okay. That's awesome. One of the boys that I represented just got a Regent diploma. Kansas has to sign IEPs. Hello, Christina. Jan, hello, hello. And goodness, Ohio has to sign. Rhode Island, you don't have to sign. Yes, you do. Show me, Jan, where it says that. Aren't you a teacher? Right? Are you a teacher? Is it you? Show me on Rhode Island State DOE website where it says parents do not have to sign or are not required to sign their IEP. Heather and all right. Hello, hello, y'all. Hello, Laura. How are ya? I haven't seen you in a little while. All right, and darn, Michelle, I haven't seen you in forever. Where'd you been? My goodness. All right, Marina, hello. Heather Jean, what did you not know? Please tell me. Then you got to go to a different county, Christina. Where are you at? North Carolina? Yeah, psychiatrists are fine. Posted, did you share, Kim? Is that what posted means? Hi, Amanda. How are you? I haven't seen you in a little while either. Hey, Jessie. Thank you for sharing. Marjorie says, yes, please. What can I help you with? Marjorie's from Hawaii, so we need to all go hang out with her. All right? So we all need to plan a trip to go see Marjorie. Gina says, my son is transitioning into preschool in the fall and has a medical diagnosis by developmental pediatrician. What's the diagnosis, Gina? Because of the virus, they're unable to evaluate him. I think evaluations have started back now. Are you on phase 3? They want to use the evaluations he has been getting, though, early intervention, but last evaluation was done March 31st. Should I have them March 31st of this year? So, Gina, if you hear this, Cynthia says, was the evaluation on March 31st his transition evaluation? Tony says, mine isn't measuring anything, fighting over a year. You need to call me. Gina says, no, for his 6th month for early intervention. We are waiting to hear for a meeting date. Okay. Yeah, let me know if you need help with anything, Gina. Yes, I am. Okay, Jan, show me. I want you to show me. Send me from your website. I used to live in Newport, Rhode Island, by the way, because my husband was military. He was Coast Guard, just like my son's Coast Guard. And so we were in Newport. We're at that Goose Creek. No, that was in South Carolina. We were in Charleston. It was in Newport. So let me know what it says on your DOE website. Go onto the DOE website. You can pull up the procedural safeguards. You can go to Rhode Island state law and statutes. Find out if it says parents do not have to sign the IEP or parents are not required to sign the IEP. Has to say that. All right? So you got some homework, Jan. Gina says, should I ask for his EI service coordinator to evaluate him for school? He has made so much progress since March. That's good. Hey, Stephanie, how are you? I mean, if he was just, I'm confused. Autism. Claudia says, I have issues in Virginia. My county doesn't want to label my daughter as autistic when we have a diagnosis from Virginia Tech and are currently waiting on an appointment with UVA. UVA is great. You're talking about Charlottesville, right? Other health condition, huh? All right, well, you need to fight that or you need to call me. All right. I'm in Virginia too, Claudia. So, but I work everywhere. So I just recently was called by someone in Alaska. So I deal with Alaska, Hawaii, not Puerto Rico. That's not, I don't even know. I haven't actually done my homework with Puerto Rico. But every part of the United States. I have not done Idaho yet. So someone needs to call me from Idaho. I'm curious how they work. Yeah, just PM me, Gina, and we'll talk. So I'm very familiar with New York. They're a nice royal pain in the ass. Yep, they sure are. I have issues with Virginia. Yeah. So yeah, PM me, Claudia. I'd like to help you with that. All right. So that whole other health condition is their way of being lazy and not labeling your child as they should be. It's funny because you know how like years ago nobody wanted their kid labeled, and now we want them labeled because, you know, it doesn't give them more things in the school system. All right. I know there's like some misconception with that. It doesn't. But what it does do is provide them an area. Yeah, I have done Iowa once. And my good friends from there. So I've been there to the corn country. And where do they live? Des Moines, I think was the name. I flew out there a couple times to some little, maybe it wasn't Des Moines. I have to ask my friend. But it was some little airport where you have to get out of the plane and walk outside to go to the airport. And then the airport's super tiny. It was like the first airport I've ever seen that was super tiny. Like maybe the size of a gym in an elementary school almost. It was crazy. But they do have good corn. And I haven't been everywhere. But if you name some places, I'll be able to tell you where it was. So yeah, so Tara, that's cool. I have one time. I didn't have much issues. They're just not familiar with a lot of stuff. But other than that, they weren't nasty. They were actually really nice. They just weren't used to a pit bull kind of coming after them. But, you know, they were good. So yeah. All right. So let's keep going. All right. So let's go back to 1997. Oh, no. I'll look it up and I'll message you. And then I'll tell my friend that I met another person from Iowa. She's always like, Iowa people are super friendly, you guys. They're like really friendly. Right, Tara? Like different than like the East Coast or, you know, like really super nice, friendly, like caring people. I felt weird at first when I got there because people were so nice, like really nice. It was, and I'm from, you know, Northern Virginia where people are not very nice all the time. So when you go somewhere and they're all nice, you're just like feeling out of your element for a second. All right. So in IDEA 1997, it clearly required that students' IEPs include a plan for progress monitoring. All right. And that's back in 1997. All right. Yet many IEPs have been deemed inadequate to the extent of denying your child with disabilities and appropriate education because of lack of such plans or failure to implement them. All right. And yes, I wrote this stuff myself, y'all. All right. So the responsibility for progress monitoring is all yours. No, just kidding. So it's of the IEP team. All right. So progress monitoring needs to be yours and everybody else's who are educating your child. All right. Yes, I'm a highlighter person. So I'm like reading my notes, putting highlights on it. I graduated. Oh, I'm going to be old at the end of the month, you guys. My birthday is this month. And we're just not going to talk about it. I'm going to post a picture that says I'm going to be 29 always. And I'm not getting any older. Right? Anybody else have a July birthday? Anybody else a Leo? I'm a Leo. What are you guys? I am a Leo. Hands down. There's no questions about it. Anybody else Leos? Okay. So here's something that you need to think about. Paraprofessionals and aides may assist in data collection. Assist. Okay? The IEP team is charged with determining if the child's progress is sufficient. So if a para is doing some assisting with data, they better know what they're doing. The results of what they do relies and falls on the teacher. Okay? So you need to be on top of that. All right? I don't allow paras to do squat with my child. No offense, but I don't. Okay? Pisces, all right. A Leo, woohoo, me too. We got a Taurus and a Scorpio. Oh God, Diana, my dad's a Scorpio. Are you stubborn? Tauruses are stubborn too. Scorpio, stubborn, 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 right? Virgo, but I'm close to Leo. I have some traits of both. So, okay, so here's something fun while I'm talking. All right, post the first trait that comes to your head in regards to what sign you are. So if you're a Taurus, post the first thing that comes to your head. Don't guess, don't think of something else, just the first thing that comes to your head. Like me, I'm a Leo. I would say determined. That would be the first word that comes out of my mouth. All right, so if you say, I'm a Scorpio, bam, what is it? Say what it is, all right? Because that tells a lot about you. You know, typically it's something exactly of who you are, and it's something to embrace, all right? We all got positive, we all got negatives. Think about the first thing that comes to your brain in reference to your sign. You guys keep doing that. I'm going to keep talking. All right, so paraprofessionals, they are not part of your IEP team, meaning they cannot be reliable for the progress. The progress should not be put on them. If I ever found out that a para was doing data collection with my child, I would flip shit. I'm saying it straight up because I would. I would lose my mind because I don't know that para. That para is not part of the team. It's not personal, guys. So if you're a para, I'm not personally attacking you. I'm simply saying me as a mom, not knowing you, the para, I would not allow, approve, consent to you working with my child unless you're a licensed teacher and you're going to be part of the team. All right? Because I will go after whoever is responsible for something going on with my child. And whether that be we're having a big conversation because you failed to implement the IEP, whether that be whatever it is, I want to make sure that that person is legit. All right. And paras are not part of the IEP team. They're actually not even allowed at the IEP team. It's kind of like a conflict of interest. And in all honesty, on the para's end, it's not fair to them because if they're a one-on-one, so to speak, and they work with your child and you love them and they're so good with your kids, which Skylar's last para was great. She was actually an RBT. And, you know, you don't want to put them in that position to be in an awkward state when they work with your kid, and you want them to just keep that relationship and not, you know, be privy to the stuff that can get rough and down and dirty. One of the things I will say too is you need to be specific in your IEP, as I did yesterday, in regards to what that one-on-one is for. Okay? It shouldn't just say one-on-one. It should say in the IEP an individual one-on-one, and then it needs to state safety and behavior, for safety and behavior, safety, behavior, and escape, whatever it is. All right? And you need to make sure that that is in play in your IEP. It needs to be specified. Everything needs specified. If there's something in play, there's a reason. Why? Ask why a lot. Ask questions a lot. If you ask a question to your team and they answer you, ask a question from their answer. Don't accept it. Ask another question. They give you an answer back. Ask another question. I'm telling you, you will learn so much learning that strategy. I should have like a webinar to teach you this strategy. It's a straight up strategy of asking a question from a question. All right. Maybe I'll grab one of my Rock the IEP course members, that's my large course where I teach people from the whole enchilada, from the very beginning, your child's not even evaluated yet to get an IEP or 504, all the way to the end and everything you do in between, and when you have to go back to the basics and when issues arise, what you have to do with due process, what you have to do with mitigation, everything. And then the last course, which was just this past Monday, that launched, who has gotten it? The Services, Accommodations, and Modifications course launched on Monday. It's less than $49 and you get access to it forever. You get to do it at your own pace. So if you want it, somebody post the link for them in the comments section. It's awesome. It's less than $49. You actually, I think I still have the post up. I haven't taken it off. So you actually get my top 5 laws, which is a $97 value. So you pay less than $49 to get a $97 value of an hour and a half of me going through the top 5 laws that you have to know in your IEP career forever. And if you don't know these laws, there's going to be failure somewhere along the line. Okay? So let me know. You can PM me. You can email me at support@autismmamarocksiep.com. Make sure you share if you want your gift this month. All right. So, oh, I want to see this. All right, so Jan just sent me, there are 2 times the IEP process that parents' signatures are required. The first is when the parents are required to give informed written consent to the child evaluated and determine if the child deemed eligible. And the parents must provide informed written consent to provisions of special education related services. Yeah. This is prior to the development of the IEP. Parents are not required to sign the first or any subsequent IEPs. If the parents do not agree with the IEP, they must specifically request mediation or due process hearing, or the IEP will go into effect within 10 school days of receipt of written prior notice of the IEP provided. Okay, so that is a state. All right, so what you do with that, so I'm going to tell you guys what to do with that. So basically, Jan, are you from Rhode Island? Is it Rhode Island? In Rhode Island, okay, she's saying, and it's true, she just gave it to me, that you have to consent for evaluations and you have to consent to related services and accommodations. All right. It's saying you actually don't have to sign the IEP in Rhode Island, which is one of very few states. I would say there's no more than 6 states that state you don't have to sign an IEP. So here's the kicker. Okay, if you can find this in your Department of Education where it says you don't have to sign the IEP, this is what you have to do. All right. If you, oh, good. You get the mini course or the big course. So here's the thing. All right. Is you have to, it says parents are not required to sign the first or any subsequent, so any continuing IEPs. If the parents don't agree with the IEP, they must specifically request mediation or due process. So you immediately request for mediation, period. All right. And you keep requesting, and it keeps your child's IEP in a stay put status until you agree and you figure it out. All right. And typically if it's something minor, you're going to figure it out. If you don't, take them to due process. They're not going to take it all the way to due process over something stupid like that. All right. So you want to resolve it. All right. And if not, don't sign it and state in writing that you do not agree, and you do not agree for it to be implemented at all. All right. And here's the thing too, is your child requires special education. Your child qualifies for special education. All right. You can literally say, I refuse the IEP. All right. Let them deal with the hell for a little bit. All right. And what I mean by hell is let them deal with the repercussions of having a child with special needs with no signed IEP related services or accommodations. And I promise you, they're going to want you to sign the IEP. If you're in a state that you have to know how to outdo this, okay? It's not about getting one up, but it is about getting one up, if that makes sense. So you don't want to say, screw you, I'm not working with you. But you don't want to say, okay, I have to agree in 10 days. So okay. And they put all this pressure on you. No. If you're in a state, I think it's 6. I'm actually going to find out now how many states. I want to say it's like 6 that you don't have to sign an IEP. All right. Immediately say you don't agree. All right. You're going to know within 24 hours. Immediately say you don't agree and request mediation. All right. That will put your IEP into what's called a stay put status, and it can't move. Okay. So, and I'm aware of this. Like, I recently signed another IEP on purpose to get compensatory services. And I hope that they're listening right now. And I did that on purpose. Okay. I had a strategy behind that because I want my child to receive services, and I was not going to send my child anywhere when something was closed, and I didn't want to send my child anywhere to get sick. And I'm sorry they did, but I didn't. So my thing is you need to make sure that you do not sign that IEP if you don't agree. Do not succumb, so to speak, is that the right word? Succumb to their stress and pressure that they're going to put on you. So within those 10 days at least, if not right away, you disagree, your child's IEP will go into a stay put status once you file for mediation. It's just a piece of paper. And then you'll go to a mediation with a third party. You want to make sure you stay specific to what you disagree with. You want to go through your IEP or have an advocate go through your IEP with you step by step to help you formulate in your brain what it is that you want, what it is you want to ask for, and you can take an advocate to mediation with you. I love going to mediation. I think it's a good thing, but you want to not give away all the goodies, so to speak, in mediation. All right. And you want to be very careful to never sign a settlement in mediation. You want to make sure you leave and take it and look at it and make sure that somebody looks at it for you. And make sure that you really agree with it. If not, disagree. You may have to go back to the table and keep mediating. But either way, your IEP stays in sync, or you can drop it altogether. And even if you dropped it altogether, they can't withdraw your child from ever getting special education again because they already qualify. All right. So then guess what? You drop the IEP because you're like, screw you. I'm not signing that. All right. And then your child doesn't have special education services, which they'd only not have it for a hot minute, guys. And then you basically come back to the table. So if you don't want to go to mediation, drop the IEP. I promise you they're going to want you to have an IEP. And then, you figure something out and working it out. And then what you do is you say, you re-ask for an IEP, and guess what they got to do? Evaluations all over again. All right. So then it's going to be a downward cycle and a big, merry-go-round if you wanted to put them through that. But the point is you need to let them know, look, we can make this difficult on each other, or we could come together and agree on something that is needed and appropriate for my child. Okay? So that's important. So at the time an IEP is developed, it must specify document plans for progress monitoring, including what will be monitored, all right, who will monitor it, when and where the monitoring will be conducted, all right, and how the data will be reported. That is key, all right? That is a key statement. I'm going to put that in a post tomorrow, okay? At the time an IEP is developed, it must specify, yes, this is my wording, guys, document plans for progress, all right? And progress monitoring, including what will be monitored, who will monitor it, when and where it will be monitored and conducted, and how the data will be reported. And you know what that is in a nutshell? It's actually how goals are created, SMART goals. That's a smart way of monitoring data, okay? All right. So tomorrow, I guess I'm going to go live again with you guys. All right. So tomorrow we're going to talk about lack of plans for progress monitoring. All right. That's an important topic. We're also going to go through behavior intervention plans, and we're going to talk about progress towards graduation and other transitional areas. Okay. We're going to continue that into next week as well. And we're going to talk about frequency of reporting progress, improving progress monitoring, by developing plans for progress monitoring, and that include multiple measures. All right, so that's going to keep the continued series. Specifics and the who, where, and when. All right, that's in my course. Course people, you guys know this, right? So, who, where, and when of progress monitoring. I go into depth in this in my large course, Rock the IEP, and it's super important. So I'm excited to go over that with you. We're going to talk about monitoring different types of progress. We're going to talk about, we're going to talk about a lot of things. There's a lot of things here. All right. I'm going to actually give you some references of things that you can look up. I'm going to give you some information on things where you can find peer-reviewed research. A lot of peer-reviewed research you have to pay for. Sometimes it's worth paying for, especially if you're going to go to due process or mediation. It's important to, you know, think about what it is you really want and figure that out if you want to, you know, use that. So let me go through some questions with you guys, and then we're going to close it up for the day. All right. Anybody doing anything fun tomorrow? All right. Oh, look at these. Okay. And make sure you post it if you shared. All right. Because I'll be able to go back and look, but I don't want to have to look at who all shared. So just post if you shared, and I'll put your name in the basket for when I pull names for the gifts. Okay. And don't forget to click notifications. And if you want to join the group at Autism Mama Rocks IEP group that you can put in the search bar, go for it. All right. So Rhode Island, Jan. Oh my gosh. That's crazy. We got to talk. I want to talk to you anyway. So PM me. I think we're going to try to get together before. We got to do it. So let me see. Yeah, you're a 2 now, Nadia. All right. Tara says, I have a 10-year-old with who's on the spectrum. I like to think we are pretty amazing. Yeah. So Stephanie's a Scorpio. Kim is a Cancer. Both. This is funny. So Skylar and I are Leo. My other two, Elena and Justin, are Cancers. So I got a Scorpio here. Hey, Mercedes. Diana's a Scorpio. Stephanie is a Taurus. Thank you, Claudia. It's not till the end of the month. It's the 27th. Mercedes is a Pisces. Nadia is a Leo. Oh, awesome. 19. Woohoo. Yeah, Elena just turned 24. She's a teacher in Northern Virginia. And Justin is 20, and he's in the Coast Guard. So, yeah, they're old. They don't even live at home. They both have their own places. Justin has his own place, and Elena's got her own place. Yeah. Michelle is a Scorpio. Claudio's a Virgo. We got a Taurus, Cynthia. So you're stubborn, Cynthia. Cynthia and I are redoing her IEP on Monday. I'm excited about that. What did I say? Stubborn. And then that's what she put. That's so funny. Oh, that is freaking great. Loretta says organized. Tara says Scorpio. Victoria says Libra. Yeah, balance. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, Leos are stubborn too, Nadia, but not so much as a Scorpio or a Taurus. We're more driven, forthcoming. We can kind of come across as, what's the word? It can be a good and a bad. It's like, what is it, guys? When you just say it, you know, like my friends will say, okay, I never have to play guessing games with Raven because she keeps it real, you know? So like if I hurt your feeling, like if I hurt their feelings because I said something, I'd rather say what I feel in the best way I can, but you can't control hurting somebody's feelings. And it be out there than not say anything at all, and then it like builds up and creates all that funkiness. So like I've always been the friend for my friends, where I'm not the shoulder they come to cry on. I'm not that friend, even though I'm there and they can come and cry and feel and, you know, all that kind of stuff. But I'm more, okay, it's time to get up. We got to do something, you know? And I'm like, I'm the problem solver. I'm like, okay, you want to know what to do? This is what we need to do. And then I do it, you know? So I'm kind of like I don't know if you want to call it straightforward. I definitely can be blunt. Yeah. So I guess that could be my like negative, but it's also a positive. I think it's all in how you look at it. Kim says emotional. Yes, that's good. And that can be good and bad too, right? Same with hot-headed, stubborn. You know, that can be good and bad. So it's like everybody's traits are cool, you know? Danny says, yes, we are. I got the course, listened to the first video, and learned something. I don't believe they have been doing what they should. I am so glad you said that. I'm so glad you got the mini course, Kim. And I am so excited. I've had a lot of kudos on it. So that's super awesome. So thank you for that. If you want to post a review on here on the page, I'd love that. That would be wonderful. So other people can read it and know. The one that just came out, the mini course. Yeah. So if you guys want the mini course, PM me. I'll also post it in the comments. Okay. It's about services, accommodations, and modifications, and everything you want to know about all three. And I give you a 35-page workbook where you get a plethora of information, even some homework that you have to do. It's awesome. You have a good night too, Tony, and message me if you need anything. And I think I got a message from you, so I got to go look at that. Stephanie, grocery shop. Police do that, taking the kids in the pool. What are y'all talking about? I got grocery shop, police do that, taking the kids in the pool from Stephanie and Danny. Y'all lost me. Fill me in. Cynthia says, am I supposed to communicate about what we discussed on new app or what? I don't know what we discuss. We will talk on Monday. Cynthia says blunt. Are you talking about me? No. Danny says you have no filter. No, I don't. I do have a filter. I do. It created a couple questions from mini course, but I will ask my, yeah. Work tomorrow, the camp. Did you get your, I did. Did you get my message back, Dylan? I've also been sharing the heck out of your page and group. Come in, Skylar.
Mom,
okay, come
on. Bed.
Okay. I created a, okay, cool. All right, bye. Good night. You asked what we were, oh, okay. Yeah, so one day I'm working, because, you know, I'm working on that due process. And then, yeah, I emailed you back. And then we're going to some falls. It's, hold on, I'll tell y'all. Falling Spring Falls. That's where we're going. Look at this picture. How pretty is that? It's Falling Spring Falls in Virginia. And it's near Humpback Bridge, which is kind of cool. I think it's cool. I'm excited to hike to the falls. That's something I love doing. You said ask a question of the question. I said police do that. Yes, that is so true, isn't it? All right, so this is like the bridge. So like I'm excited about the falls because you can actually swim in them. Look, I'm sitting here talking to y'all. Okay, so I think it's really cool. I'm excited about that. It's in Covington, Virginia. I think it's like an hour and a half from me or something like that. So I'm excited because you can actually dive into the water there. So I thought that's cool. So you get to go and see the waterfall. Who's my twin? Yeah, are you a Libra? Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right, guys. You guys have an awesome weekend, okay? I may go live tomorrow, but it's going to be over on my group. So if you want to catch me live tomorrow, it's going to be on my group. And tomorrow is Picture Friday over on the group. So, oh, and also, even though I'm taking your names to give out a gift, just so you know, most of my gifts and giveaways are done over in the group. Okay? That's where the good gifts are given. Thank you. What are you doing this weekend, Marina? I'll be shopping for good. Oh, that's what you meant. Okay. Have you ever been to the Cascades in Giles County? No. Are you in Virginia? Have a good, you too. I'll take pictures. Maybe I'll go live at the, you guys got to join my group. So if you're not on my group, go to Autism Mama Rocks IEP group. Because typically when I go live, if I'm somewhere personal, then I go on my group. I feel more comfortable on my group. Like, this is for everybody, you know? Where, like, my group, it's like my peeps, you know? Like, they're just really cool, and they ask questions, and, you know, it's really nice. So, yeah, watch the replay. You have a good weekend, too, Linda. All right, guys. So, I will talk to you tomorrow. Go and join the group. Autism Mama Rocks IEP group. I'm going to let the kids jump on the trampoline and get fun. That's cool. So you guys have a good weekend. Join the group. Click notifications. All right. Share. If you share, your name will go in a basket this month. All right. I don't normally do gifts on the page, but I'm going to this month because it's my birthday month. So I'm doing it here and over in the group. The group will be a different prize. And Sky's my twin. Yeah, she's a hoot, man. She is something else. Oh. Huh. I am going to check that out, Claudia. Wow. Huh. Have you been? All right. You should send me information on it if you've, like, been. That's cool. That's one of my favorite movies, too. I mean, it can't top Top Gun. Top Gun's one of my faves. All right, guys. Have a good weekend, and I will talk to you tomorrow over on the group, so make sure to join. Talk to you soon.